So we had a little bit of business tonight. The schedule is out. The Ravens 2024 schedule has been released tonight at 8 o'clock. So definitely, we got a little bit of news yesterday. We put this out. The Ravens are going to get the first game of the year. So they're going to be the way it's been for the last, I think, I don't know how many years it's been, but it's something like 15, 16 years. New England, I think, was the first team where whoever wins the Super Bowl gets the first home game at home uh, when they win a championship. So they got it last year. They won back to back. They got it again this year. They're getting the first home game at home as well. So the Ravens are now going to go ahead and get the first game against the Kansas City Chiefs. That is the game that's going to start the NFL season on Thursday night football. How about it? Uh, I'm a little surprised by the reaction I've been seeing so far when this was leaked yesterday from a lot of the fans. Not liking this. I love it. I love it. That's not hyperbole. I want to send a message right away. Look, we would have had this game circle on the schedule no matter when it was, week 10, week 11, week whatever. You would have that Chiefs game circled there as well. I want to get it out the way right away. Let them hang the banner all they want, and let them do all that stuff. Let them do all that, and let's go ahead and win the game, the first game. Send a message right away. Send a message to the entire AFC right away by beating Kansas City. I love it. I love it. I don't understand this narrative. Well, it doesn't matter. No, you got to win this game. Look, send a message to them. Let them think about that all year long. How they got beat opening night. So again, understand it's not a playoff game. I do kind of understand that. It's not the same exactly, but definitely send that message right away. So yeah, I love the fact that we're getting the first game opening night. Why not have a Ravens game on the first Sunday, on the first Thursday night game? And so yeah, I love this. So I'm not mad at all that we're getting Kansas City in the first game. Week 2, Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, I think, are. I say it all the time with them. We don't know what they're getting. I would think about my dad whenever I see the Raiders. This was his favorite team. He loved John Madden, Al Davis, Jim Plunkett, the old version of the Raiders in the 60s and the 70s and all that. I don't know what we're getting with the Raiders. I would say this: Gardner Minshew is not as bad as what people think he is. I think that wasn't a bad move. I think of probably it's still not as good as Derek Carr was, but I definitely think for a year, see if Aiden O'Connell has anything, see if O'Connell can play. I think that's in play there, not making too much money. Be interesting. But the Raiders, you don't know what you're going to get. Antonio Pierce now is the full-time head coach for them, so it'll be interesting to see how they do for the Ravens' first home game, 1 o'clock on CBS there. A lot of people looking forward to this one. Obviously, this is going to be a lot of national hype here with the Dallas Cowboys. Everything the Cowboys do is national hype. I'm not sure. I don't think the Cowboys have ever beaten the Ravens. As far as I know, I don't think that's correct. So I think the Ravens have beaten the Cowboys, I think, every time they play. I don't think they've ever beat the Ravens when they play. So I think the Ravens have been successful every time they play. Going down to Jerry's World, AT&T Bank Stadium. Cowboys, I think, are interesting. I don't know if they've taken a step back or not. I don't know how far you get with Prescott. I don't know. I don't know if you can get everywhere you need to get with him. He just doesn't play well in the playoffs. Plays well enough in a regular season, kind of like a version of a Kirk Cousins, maybe a better version, but doesn't play well in the playoffs as well. Ravens, I think, match up very well with Dallas. I think that's why they beat them so many times. I think they'll be more physical. I like their chances in that game as well. Another Sunday night game against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo, we don't know what we got this year. I don't know where to place Buffalo exactly. I'm gonna study more on the roster and see, but I don't know. They've lost a lot this offseason. I'm not sure where you place them going forward. They have Josh Allen, so that gives you 8, 9 wins right there. If they can keep Josh Allen healthy, interesting to see though with Allen, the success he had, and I'm pointing this out this here in the offseason. The success he had was with Stephon Diggs. Kind of wasn't the same before he got there. So this is his first season now without Stephon Diggs. They did Keon Coleman in the draft. They did do that. They lost to two outstanding safeties, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. Von Miller's clearly on the downside. They've lost a bunch of stuff here. So we'll see how the Bills do. Getting a home game early in the season, a Sunday night game, like the Ravens, chances there. Cincinnati, no introduction needed. I think Cincinnati was super impressive with Browning as the quarterback last year. They're going to get Joe Burrow back. This is kind of a tell season for Joe Burrow here. Joe Burrow is going to have to play healthy. Had a few injuries. This is his second time. He's kind of missed a lot of the season here as well. Didn't really play in the preseason. Played a little bit in the mini camps, and he's looked good. So that's a good sign for them. Going into Cincinnati, Ravens have had much better success in recent years in Cincinnati. Not in the playoff game a couple years ago, but they've had some success against Cincinnati as well. Cincinnati made a couple moves in the offseason. Interesting to see how we do against Cincinnati. Kind of hoping this one wouldn't be the other way. It'd be a little closer to me. Ravens and Commanders. Easy to get tickets to, like to this game if they're playing, but they're playing in M&T Bank Stadium. We know Ravens gonna win this game, right? I mean, Commanders with a rookie quarterback should be coming along by then. I think that'll be interesting to see Jayden Daniels how he does at this point in the season. With like we're at week 6 right there. Yeah, see how he comes around here. See how he progresses. I don't think there's much there in Washington. Austin Eckler is there. They got him in the offseason. They have a new coach, Dan Quinn. They got Bobby Wagner to help him on defense. This is not a playoff team. Ravens a playoff team. One of the sneaky good teams from last season, a surprise here, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bucks actually won the AFC South. Now, they were, I think, in the worst division, but I think they did well last year. And also, too, they were spending a lot of money retaining a lot of their players. The other day, Antoine Whitfield, they re-signed him. They've re-signed Mike Evans, re-signed Baker Mayfield to an extension. So a team where maybe we were thinking they were going to go the rebuild route, they have a legitimate shot here to actually win 3 straight seasons, rather, the AFC South again. So good job by them to actually get in there. I don't think they're in the Ravens class quite yet, but we will see how they do in this game. Cleveland Browns again. It's Cleveland Browns first time. I'm sorry. Browns. How good is Deshaun Watson still? That's the thing. This team can get to the Super Bowl with the talent that they have if they have a decent quarterback, and we don't know. I'm not as low on Watson as a lot of people are. I think he was actually starting to come around. Inactivity costs an athlete sometimes. If you don't play at all, it can be a problem. And he hasn't played much. So I think the fact that he hasn't played much, he seemed to be kind of getting it together before the injury. Now he's got to fight through another injury. So can they get a Deshaun Watson back to where they are? Everything else is there. Nick Chubb was out. They were still able to run the ball. They have a good run game. The defense was very, very good. I thought that was one of the best defenses in the NFL last year, if not the best, the Cleveland Browns. So they were terrific on defense. I think they're legitimate contenders if you can get Deshaun Watson in there. Ravens have a tough game on the road, Cleveland. Denver. Oh, how the mighty have fallen here. Denver's a bit of a mess. I think them getting Bo Nix. Ravens should win this game, by the way. They're getting Bo Nix actually may prevent it getting worse than what it is. I heard somebody say that Bo Nix didn't think Bo Nix was anything but a bridge. So what if it is? They were the other quarterback options are Jared Stidham and Zach Wilson. Yeah, Bo Nix is going to play. He's the only shot they got. They have some players. They have some players, but they're in cap jail because of the Russell Wilson thing. They couldn't do anything. They had to let Justin Simmons go. They got Surtain on defense. They got no receivers besides Cortland Sutton. Can't imagine they're probably pulling up the rear in the division. I can't imagine Ravens lose this game. They've got a Thursday night game again against the Cincinnati Bengals. I've seen this a couple times where they're getting this at M&T Bank here. I think the Bengals on the road aren't nearly as good. I've seen that a couple years. They seem to be much better at home. They kind of, I think it's a good advantage that they're getting as well. They're interesting to see how this goes, how good the Bengals actually are. Can the Bengals actually get back to what they were before the Joe Burrow injury? Interesting to see. All right. The Steelers, the Squealers. I've been thinking about this all day. I know everybody's focusing on Kansas City and all that, etc. But I want to thank our former inside linebacker, PQ, Patrick Queen. Thank you. The Ravens-Steelers rivalry was a great rivalry. But it's kind of needed a little something, right? It kind of needed a little extra. Just put something on. This is it. There you go. PQ talking trash. Ravens going to play Pittsburgh. This is exactly what the rivalry needed. I can't wait to beat the Squealers here. The Squealers did beat us twice last year. Now, in no way were they the superior team. I'm not saying that because they were Pittsburgh. One game you were resting players. One game the Ravens have probably played the worst game of the year. They had tons of turnovers. So they are definitely motivated. They lost to them twice despite the good season. And PQ is there. We needed this. We needed this, but the Squealers are it's getting a little bit too nice, too congenial. No, this is what we need here. So absolutely, a lot of national interest in this next one. I keep wanting to say San Diego Chargers, the LA Chargers. So rumored that this was going to be on Thanksgiving night. This is going to be on a Monday night. The two brothers, the Harbaughs, going head to head. Interesting dynamic for them now, the brothers. The last time Jim Harbaugh was a coach in the league, he was in the NFC. They didn't meet in the Super Bowl. So they're not going to meet in the Super Bowl now. They're going to be fighting for the AFC. The Chargers, I think, are going to be this is a huge coaching upgrade that they're getting. So the Chargers are going to do much, much, much better. The biggest thing that they lacked in recent years, especially on offense, was an identity. They have one now. We know what they're going to do. They got J.K. Dobbins. They got Gus Edwards. They got Ben Mason. They're going to run the football. They got a lot of ex-Ravens there. This is Ravens West. Excellent Monday night game. I'm looking forward to it as well. Here's a guy the Ravens were looking at in the offseason. Well, at least I was. Like at running back, Saquon Barkley, and you're going against the Philadelphia Eagles. So interesting to see the Eagles now in the post Jason Kelce era. A lot of extensions for the Eagles. Everybody keeps telling me the Ravens can't afford receivers. They signed Saquon Barkley to a deal. They extended A.J. Brown. They extended Devontae Smith. So they've been spending a lot of money. They're well invested. They gave their quarterback big contract a few years ago. Can they get back on defense? It's an interesting part with the Eagles. So it'll be interesting to see. It could be on defense, kind of get back to where they need to get. That'll be interesting to see if they can do that. Couple more here. Giants. Giants are actually looking at it, they're a little better than I thought they were. Like in terms of that, they went ahead, they signed Malik Neighbors in the draft. They did lose Saquon Barkley. They didn't have Daniel Jones, for better or worse, a lot of last year. I do think that hurt them as well. So I think they're going to have him. Brian Burns is a big signing in the offseason for them. So it'll be interesting to see if that goes ahead and helps them. Then we get to Squealers in M&T Bank Stadium as well. So again, so this is Patrick Queen coming to M&T Bank as a squealer. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that we're gonna. This is exactly what this needs. Exactly the shot in the arm that we needed for this rivalry to beat the Squealers. Absolutely fantastic. Houston Texans. I think the Texans are one of the elite teams now in the entire NFL. Interesting to see how this goes. C.J. Stroud was terrific. Nico Collins was terrific. I think D'Amico Ryans as a young coach is great. I definitely love him as a coach in the league. So D'Amico Ryans I think is fantastic as well. So interesting to see. This is going to be Christmas night on Netflix. How about that? So they kind of stuck that in. So Netflix now, WWE, they went ahead and signed that. They're doing the Tyson fight, and they're now doing the NFL on Christmas. So definitely log into Netflix, and so you can watch the Ravens on Christmas night. One last game to be determined. We don't know the date. It'll be that final weekend. It's going to be the Sunday, January 5th against the Cleveland Browns as well. So definitely we're going to go ahead and check that out there. It'll be the Cleveland Browns, the last day. That time you don't know. They may flex it if it's for the division title. It might be the Sunday night game. It might be on Saturday, whatever. The last week they kind of keep wide open now. Not even the days are even locked in. So keep that whole weekend open as well. Tough division. Overall, the schedule. I'm not one way or the other here. I think it is a little tougher than last year. The whole narrative of the strength of schedule, I pay that no mind. That doesn't bother me at all. The strength of schedule. All that tells you is basically the records what they were last year. It's a whole new year. I think a first place schedule factors in a little bit, in my opinion, because you are by and large playing good teams. Like when you play the first place schedule. But winning percentages and all, I don't pay that. They are playing a first place schedule. They did finish at the best record in the AFC last year. So they are going to be playing good teams a lot. But that'll be interesting to see. So now we know it's here. The schedule